Have you ever noticed how some people seem to sabotage themselves right when things start going well? They get close to a breakthrough, land that dream job, or find the perfect relationship, and then somehow everything falls apart. What if I told you this isn't just bad luck or poor timing? What if there's actually a psychological reason why some people fear success even more than they fear failure? Today we're diving deep into one of the most counterintuitive aspects of human psychology. We're going to explore why your brain might be wired to push away the very things you think you want most, and more importantly, how to recognize if this is happening to you. Think about it for a second. Failure feels terrible, right? It's rejection, disappointment, maybe even public embarrassment. So why would anyone be more afraid of success? The answer lies in something psychologists call success anxiety, and it's way more common than you might think. Here's what's really happening in your mind when success anxiety kicks in. Your brain starts running these worst-case scenarios about what happens after you succeed. What if people expect too much from you now? What if you can't maintain this level of performance? What if success changes you into someone you don't recognize? What if your relationships suffer because people become jealous or distant? The fear of failure is straightforward. You don't get what you want, you feel bad for a while, then you move on. But the fear of success? That's complex. Success brings responsibility, expectations, and permanent change to your identity. And for some people, that uncertainty feels more terrifying than the familiar pain of staying where they are. Let me paint a picture of what this looks like in real life. Erica works in marketing and has always dreamed of starting her own agency. She's talented, creative, and has great ideas. But every time she gets close to taking that leap, something happens. She procrastinates on the business plan, she finds excuses to delay meetings with potential investors, or she convinces herself she needs more experience first. On the surface, it looks like she's just being cautious or maybe dealing with imposter syndrome. But dig deeper and you'll find something else. Erica is terrified of what her life will look like if her agency actually succeeds. Will she have time for her family? Will her friends still relate to her? Will the pressure crush her creativity? These fears feel so overwhelming that staying in her comfortable but unfulfilling job seems like the safer option. This pattern shows up everywhere once you start looking for it. The musician who gets nervous before every audition, not because they're afraid of being rejected, but because they're afraid of being accepted. The writer who never finishes their novel because deep down they're terrified of what happens if it becomes a bestseller. The entrepreneur who finds ways to sabotage every business venture right before it takes off. Here's where things get really interesting from a psychological perspective. Success anxiety often stems from childhood experiences and family dynamics. Maybe you grew up in a household where success was viewed with suspicion, where people who achieved too much were seen as sellouts or show-offs. Maybe your parents struggled financially and you unconsciously worry that surpassing them will damage your relationship. Or perhaps you witnessed successful people in your life become unhappy, stressed, or isolated. Your brain formed the association that success equals misery, even though logically you know that's not always true. These early programming patterns run so deep that they operate below your conscious awareness, silently steering your decisions away from the success you claim to want. There's also something called the upper limit problem, a concept that explains how we each have an internal thermostat for how much success, happiness, and fulfillment we believe we deserve. When we approach or exceed that limit, our unconscious mind kicks in with self-sabotaging behaviors to bring us back down to our perceived comfort zone. Think about lottery winners who end up broke within a few years, or celebrities who seem to have everything but struggle with addiction and mental health issues. Sometimes this isn't just about external pressures. Sometimes it's about internal conflicts between wanting success and feeling worthy of keeping it. But here's the empowering part. Once you understand this pattern, you can start to change it. The first step is honest self-reflection. Ask yourself some tough questions. Do you have mixed feelings about successful people in your life? Do you worry that achieving your goals will fundamentally change who you are? Do you find yourself procrastinating or self-sabotaging right when momentum is building? Pay attention to the stories you tell yourself about success. Do you believe that successful people are happier or more stressed? Do you think success requires sacrificing your values or relationships? These beliefs might be operating as invisible barriers that keep you from reaching your full potential. Another crucial element is examining your relationship with visibility and attention. Success often means being seen, being talked about, being in the spotlight. For people who prefer to fly under the radar, this aspect of success can feel genuinely threatening. The fear of judgment, criticism, or even positive attention can be paralyzing. The good news is that success anxiety is completely treatable once you recognize it. Start by challenging your assumptions about what success actually means. Success doesn't have to mean working 100-hour weeks or becoming someone you don't recognize. You get to define what success looks like for you, and you get to set boundaries around how you pursue and maintain it. Practice visualizing not just achieving your goals, but living successfully with them achieved. What does your day-to-day life look like? How do you maintain your relationships? How do you handle the increased responsibilities? The more comfortable you become with these scenarios in your mind, the less threatening they'll feel in reality. If you recognize yourself in this description, you're not broken or weak. You're just human, dealing with one of the more complex aspects of psychology. The fact that you're even considering this possibility shows incredible self-awareness and courage. Remember, the goal isn't to eliminate all fear of success, but to understand it well enough that it doesn't control your decisions. Your dreams are worth pursuing, and you're worth the success you're capable of achieving.